I am now well over halfway through 75 hard. This is an update for days 31 through to 45. I am doing these updates in 15-day updates because I think weekly was too much, but 25 means 3 videos, but it's a lot to get into one video, so we've settled on 15. So after this video there will be 2 more. Quick maths. It's the 20th of February today, so I am filming this almost like a week after the day that it cuts off, so I'm on day 51 now, which is mad because I'm into like my last third, which is just crazy. But this video will follow the same format as my previous. I'll go through kind of each thing by category and tell you how I'm doing rather than go through each day because it does get really repetitive. If you are not familiar with 75 hard, there are some rules that you have to stick to. It's non-negotiable, you can't tweak them, you've kind of just got to do everything that it says, and if you fail on anything you have to start from day 1. Thankfully that hasn't happened yet, but there is still time. Sometimes I feel like I get so like wrapped up in the structure and routine of it that I don't want it to end, so it has crossed my mind to fail it intentionally on day 74, but I don't think I'm going to. I think I would like to have something nice to eat. I've started craving different kinds of food that I can't have, so I'm doing a bit of a list for my cheat meals when I'm done. So to get into the rules that you've got to do, you've got to take a progress picture every day. This has been easy. I don't find it difficult to do. I kind of do it when I'm getting ready so I don't forget. I've kind of like built that into my mornings when I'm getting dressed. I do take 2 pictures a day. You don't have to do this, but I want like a front picture and a side picture just so I can see where changes have been made. It'll be nice to have that little slideshow when I'm done. So food wise, you have to follow a diet for 75 hard. That can be any diet that you choose. My diet is a calorie deficit, so as long as it fits within my calories, within reason, I can have it. I would call it a cheat meal if I'd saved all my calories up all day to have, I don't know, a Domino's pizza or something, and I starved myself all day just so I could binge on pizza on the night. But if I can fit something into my day in meals, so if I could have a slice of pizza, I've had half a pizza for tea a couple of nights. It's not a Domino's one, it's an Asda one, but you know, as long as it fits within my calories and I don't deprive myself through the day to have that, then I'm allowing it and it's not a cheat meal. You're not allowed to drink alcohol, but honestly I don't really struggle that much with that because I'm not a massive drinker. I'll drink if I go out, but because of the time of year I'm doing this, there's not a lot going on. It's not like I'm missing out on like a walk and a beer garden pint or something like that. Like I'm not bothered this time of year. If it was the summer it would be a very different thing. Maybe sometime I should do it in the summer to make it hard for myself, but honestly I don't think I'd be able to do it. So going through the food that I've had, so my most eaten breakfast or drank breakfast was a protein shake. So I went to a wholesaler's, I told you about this on the last video, and got loads of Grenade protein shakes. They are about to go out of date, so I had been trying to use those up. So during this 15-day period I had those 6 times on a morning. I found as well that recently I've been waking up and I've not been that hungry. Like I've known that I need to eat something, but I've not been starving on a morning, so at least that's getting protein in, it's getting some calories in, and I'm not skipping something entirely, so it's worked out all right. Other breakfasts that I've had a protein pot from Aldi twice. I think one was a protein rice and the other one was a mousse. I like getting these every time I go to Aldi. I get a few just so I've got them in my fridge because they're good to have as a snack, they're good to have as a breakfast, and they're high in protein. I had a bagel and Philadelphia twice. We had some bagels in the freezer, so I'm trying to create some freezer space. It's the New York, I think it's red onion and chive. Honestly, they're so nice with some Philly, so I've had that twice. I had some toast one day. I've made an egg and cheese wrap. Beans and cheese on toast one day. I love cheesy beans on toast. I should have that more, to be fair. I had Weetabix one day. I forgot that Weetabix existed. I mean, we've had it in the cupboard since we've lived here, but I don't know, I kind of forgot how nice it was, so I had that one day. And then I also saw, and this is going to be featured heavily in my next update because I've been eating it a lot since, an overnight like protein cheesecake type thing. So it's like Weetabix on the bottom, you crush it up. I've put some oat milk in, just like so it's not dry, and then mixed some Greek yogurt with protein powder, put that on top, and then I've melted a bit of Biscoff and like drizzled that on, and that's been absolutely gorgeous. So I have had that a few times since. Would highly recommend. I love it when you just find something on Instagram or TikTok and you just think, that's a bit of me, I'm gonna have that. I need that in my life. But yeah, they're not always as successful as you want them to be, but that one has definitely been a winner. So moving on to my lunches, I did do a meal prep one day and did some Philly and pesto pastas with some, I think there was like peas, there was some green veg in there as well, and some onions. Had that 5 times just because I'd made a big batch of it, and it's easy to just grab something out of the fridge when you're working, because I use my lunch break to walk the dog, so it's just nice to have something easy. Another thing that I had a couple of times was like they're called Indian nests. It's basically like sweet potato, loads of veggies and some spices thrown together. They're from Aldi, from the freezer section, but they were really nice. Had that with some cucumber twice and a little bit of yogurt and mint sauce. We had them in and I needed to use them, so again, I'm trying to make more freezer space so I can do more meal prep. I had a veggie sausage and egg sarnie one day, cottage pie one day. My grandma had a bit of a tough week, so we drove up to see her, so it's like a 2-hour drive and a 2-hour drive back, so that was a harder day to navigate, but still managed to get everything in. I did a walk and a yoga that day, so I drove like up and back, so it's like 2 hours there, 2 hours back ish, give or take. And then obviously you're sitting and eating and then we were coming home, but it was nice to see me granny. And because I'd made the food and took it up, I kind of had that control. I think she was a little bit offended that I took food, but it was easier for me to go, I'll cook for you, than not know what was in it and then fail my whole challenge. So it's just about making it work, but I think I did well that day. Another lunch I've had, cheese toasty and crisps, standard. Sometimes I just need something really quick that I can just take straight back upstairs and sit at my desk and work. Fried egg sarnie, really can't go through like a week without having one of these in most of my videos. I had a mini egg, cheese and onion wrap. So part of our HelloFresh, we had quesadillas, is that how you say it? I can never say it. Mexican, the little mini Mexican wrap things. And we had some left in the pack, so I just used those. Put some egg, cheese and onions in. Had it with some crisps. It was really nice, really quick. Really proud of myself for avoiding any food waste, because I hate chucking stuff out. Another dinner that I had was stir fry with some noodles. So again, I bought loads of packs of noodles from this wholesalers that I went to. Got some vegan corn pieces and some stir fry mix and made 2 portions of those. It was a really big serving for the amount of calories in it, and on this day, I think it was Valentine's Day, yeah it was, I stopped vaping on this day as well, so the big food, the volume food that took longer to eat really helped with the no vaping and the hand to mouth thing, so it came at a good time. My teas, HelloFresh, we're still doing HelloFresh. I'm still loving it. It is getting a little bit, not boring because we're having different foods all the time, but it's kind of that, what we're doing now and following instructions. So, and I've getting to a point where I've forgotten the meals that was on our regular rotation because we're too busy eating HelloFresh meals. But I mean, we've got the recipe cards. We can go through and add our favourites into our rotation when it ends. We're doing 16 weeks of HelloFresh, so it should last us for all of 75 hard, I think. Anyway, we had 9 of those, really nice, managing to fit them in my calories. We do intentionally have to avoid the ones that look super tasty because some of them are like over 1,200 calories for a meal, and I can't spare that many for one meal. But aside from that, I don't feel like I've been deprived with it, and I haven't had to pick foods that I wouldn't normally eat for the sake of the calories. Like everything that we've had has been really nice, and some of them are quite big portions for what's the number of calories that's in it. I was saying this to my boyfriend last night, like some of them feel like they're really big and they're the lower calorie ones, and the higher calorie ones sometimes feel really small. It's really strange. We had pizza 3 times. Once was with chips because it was the day after we'd been to a gig, so we'd had a lie-in. It was the day that I'd had my beans on toast. That was like kind of a brunch, So then we had tea that was a little bit bigger than normal because we'd slept through breakfast, or I had anyway. Flatbread with vegan chicken bits. It's almost like a vegan kebab with some chips. We've been having this quite a lot. Again, bought some flatbreads from the wholesalers. They're in the freezer, so between HelloFresh meals we're kind of pulling those out and having them. Really enjoying those at the minute. We've put loads of seasoning on and it's really nice. We did have a McDonald's trip, but it did fit into my calories, so I made sure that I was eating normal through the day. We were going to a gig, and a sober gig was different as well. Not that I'm normally like drunk at a gig, but I like to have like a pint in my hand. It was weird without a drink, so I got a Red Bull, but that obviously doesn't last as long as a pint. I don't know, I like having something in my hand at a gig, otherwise I feel really awkward. Anyway, we went to McDonald's and I figured out that I could have a cheeseburger and either medium fries or 6 chicken nuggets. And I mean, neither of them are the best healthy option, I know that, but I opted for the chicken nuggets instead of the fries just to get a little bit more protein. And McDonald's fries are quite hit and miss anyway, aren't they? In terms of snacks, I've been a little bit extra snacky than I was like the first couple of weeks, I think. So it's like pop chips, had popcorn 3 times. Sometimes I would have those protein shakes that I've been having for my breakfast. I would have those for a snack. Got some little oat bars from Aldi. Yeah, they were just nice to have, just a quick grab. Protein mousse again, and I had toast and Philly twice. This tends to be if I've got a run and I'm a little bit hungry, like I'll just have that before I go for my run. Yeah, I do feel like there's more snacks on this time round than what there was last time I spoke to you. Not that that's an issue. I've also got that I had a fun-sized Twix and that there's nothing fun about a fun-sized Twix, which is true, they're tiny. Another rule of 75 hard is that you have to do 2 workouts. Both have to be at least 45 minutes and at least one of them must be outside. So I am quite lucky in that I've got the dog, so a lot of my walks, my outdoor workouts are walks with the dog, so that's easy to get out of the way. There was one day that the dog was in the vets all day, so I'd dropped him off at the vets in the morning, gone to the gym, came home, had some food, and then I went straight out for a run. That's the only day that hasn't been like a day where I've walked. In terms of other stuff, I have done 4 lower body exercises. So on my rotation, I only have 1 lower body and I just repeat that because I try to cover. I do a lot of chest and back and my shoulders in that, so I kind of feel like I cover my upper body for what I want to do for now. So in that there is a lat pull down, a chest press, or there's the vertical chest press at the gym, which I prefer. I haven't been doing bench press at the minute because I feel like I'm really weak on one side compared to the other, so I like to do it single-handedly. But at the same time, what's that? It's not unilaterally because that's one at a time, isn't it? Anyway, I like both my hands to have the same equal weight, so I'm not overcompensating with the other side. A seated row, so that's just a cable row. A strict military press, so that's overhead press for your shoulders, without any bounce. You're not bouncing it up, so they feel really good. I mean, I'm not particularly strong with them. I'm doing it with like 12 kilograms, but they feel nice. And some bicep curls. So what I am trying to do is just increase those every time. So the first time I did this during this period was the 3rd of Feb. My total weight lifted was 3,810 kilograms. And then the last one that I did, I lifted, so this was on the 14th of Feb, I did 3,977. So I'm just trying through every time I do that workout to increase on my total volume. That could be more reps or it could be adding weight, or it's usually a little bit of both. But if I'm feeling like I'm really weak on that time, I'll just do my lower set, like my lighter set, and do more reps of that, just so my volume's increasing. But I am finding that I am getting stronger with those. I'm really enjoying it. I did 4 lower body workouts during this period. So I have 3 different lower body exercises, workouts on my rotation. One of them is the hardest one, I would say, just because Bulgarian split squats are hard work, is deadlifts and then split squats and lunges. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it does take a lot of time because you're kind of doing 3 sets on each leg twice for the Bulgarians and the lunges. So yeah, again, trying to improve on those every time I do them. And I think I have. So the first one I did was on the 31st of Jan. And that was 3,620 total kilograms. I will put it all up on the screen just so you can see and see like the breakdown of what I've lifted for each set. And then the most recent one, 3,904. I know that has gone up by a bit. So 3,904. So I did increase, well, I tried to increase everywhere. My Bulgarian split squats, I am trying to get heavier on those. I hate them. I probably can go heavier. I get paranoid about my knee. I used to have a bad knee, so I get like this weird paranoia that it's going to go off. My second lower body is staggered RDL, so that's like a base stance Romanian deadlift, so you're kind of focusing on one side rather than both at the same time. A sumo deadlift and static lunges, so that's like you're in the same lunge position, you're not like stepping back or stepping forward in it, it's kind of just you moving up and down, if that makes sense. Again, trying to improve on those. I think that once during that, but again, just trying to improve on that volume every time, progressive overload, trying to get stronger, building some muscles. And then my third one is a hip thrust with a leg press. So this was good mornings. In my last video, I did say I'm thinking about switching them out. I have switched out for a leg press because I can go quite heavy on a leg press and it's nice to feel a little bit stronger in the gym rather than doing good mornings and worrying that I'm going to hurt my back. So I've been doing leg presses, sumo squats, and then a hamstring curl because I have weak hamstrings and that is why I get a bad hip. It's also partly sitting a lot, but I sit for work, so it's hard. So I'm just trying to do everything that I can to strengthen where I know are weak areas, just to see if that kind of helps with the niggles and the injuries that I consistently keep getting. So that's it for my strength workouts. I've done 4 runs during this time period. So I do run club on a Tuesday. That's kind of a bit of a shorter run. It's usually about 5k, but by the time I add on my warm up and my cool down, it does equal to around 45 minutes. I take it really easy. I try to do this at zone 2 as well, so it does take a little bit longer to do. It's probably about 36 to 38 minutes depending on the route and how my heart rate is that day. But I will say though, since stopping vaping, my heart rate's dropping again. I'm going to put it on screen actually so you can see where I've stopped in the summer when we first moved in, and then I started again, and then you can see where it's dropped off again, which is nice. The weird thing is that you know it's bad for you, yet it's always where I end up. It's stupid. So yeah, 4 runs. My shorter one on a Tuesday. I have been trying to implement a little bit of a longer one because I have a 10k coming up at the end of this. It's actually the last day of 75 hard. So I'm trying to just balance the training but not training too much because obviously I'm doing other things and exercising every day, but I do feel like I'm getting fitter. I feel like I'm getting my running back into a good position, a good place to where it was. But yeah, my hip injury, I do feel that it may return. So it's hard, like, do I go full out on this 10k and try and get a PB, even though I've not been running like long in comparison? So a bit of history, I used to do the Great North Run every year. I've done London Marathon, and then the year after London I did Manchester Half. Went really well, got a PB, also really hurt my hip, and it was sore for quite a while. Like I couldn't run for ages, or it would feel okay and then I'd go for a run and it would set it off again. So it isn't until December when I did Markathon last year, December 24, where I thought, oh, maybe I can run again. So Markathon, you run for, it's 5k or 25 minutes every day, but I took them really slow trying to build it back up. But yeah, I don't know what to do. I might try and get a PB. I'll see how my hip's feeling at the end because it was a bit niggly the other day. I did a 10k at the weekend with Run Club and then did my 5k on the Tuesday. So there was only one day in between and my hip was a bit niggly on the Wednesday. So I'm just going to see how it goes. I'm not here to injure myself. If I need to take it easy, I'll take it easy. I don't want to be like kind of thrown out of the game completely because I enjoy exercise. It makes us feel better. It's good for my anxiety levels, definitely. I also did 3 double walk days. So if I am a little bit sore when my hip's been playing up, I'll just do 2 walks with the dog. There was a day that he was really anxious as well, bless him, because he's been in and out of the vets, had loads of tests done, and there was one day he'd been in and he just wasn't happy at all. He was like howling, so we took him for an extra walk, which was nice. And then I did a yoga as well. I did a walk and a yoga one day. That was the day that we drove home. I think it's been going well. I'm glad that I've managed to balance like lower body, upper body and run. Like I've done 4 of each of those, which was quite good because I was a little bit worried it would be quite unbalanced, because it can be, because I kind of just do what my body's feeling like that day. I try not to repeat anything like 2 consecutive days, so I won't do like 2 upper body days because I'm doing exactly the same thing. I like to get a bit of recovery in different places. So yeah, it's going really well. Moving on to reading. So you have to read 10 pages of a self-improvement book every day. I have been reading this, The Dose Effect. So I was reading The Dip, but it was if you did watch the previous one, it was such a short book. I think it was like 70 pages or something. I didn't finish it because I just thought, I think I was just annoyed at how short it was. It's good. I like the kind of premise of it, and it's kind of like knowing when to quit things. So I quit The Dip. I think there was only like 5 pages or something left to read, but then I bought this because I could remember seeing a video that it's TJ Power, and I'd seen it on his Instagram. But honestly, it's been that and Let Me have been 2 of the best self-help books that I've ever read, and I've been really lucky to have found them both so close together for this challenge, because times when I've done this before, you kind of buy books and then they're not what you expected them to be, but this one's really good. It's kind of about how to boost your brain chemistry and what each one is. I'm not going to spoil it because I think you should go and read it, but yeah. So there's four chemicals in your brain. It's dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins, and it kind of gives you a background on each one, why you could be low in them, how it would feel, and then how you can improve them. And it actually gives you like little challenges for each one. So I am thinking about doing like a little video series testing them out after I've done 75 hard, because every one that I read, every like challenge, I'm like, oh, that sounds really good, I really want to do that. So I'm thinking about testing those out. But yes, if you would like to read this, I'll put a link for it down below, but it's really good. I would highly recommend, and it has recently come out, I think. I am getting to the end of it, which is really sad because I've really been enjoying it and been reading more than my 10 pages because I get so into it. But yeah, really good book, really recommend. Also really recommend Let Them. I will link that down below as well. Another rule is water. So I have to drink a gallon of water a day. That's 4 of these bottles, give or take. It's 3.78 litres, I think. So I'd do 3.8 just for margin's sake, just in case I've accidentally not filled up enough or filled too much up on one bottle or whatever. One thing I would say about the water is that it's really important to get it done early and to start early with it. I have made the mistake on a few occasions where I'm sat on the sofa on a night chugging water when I'd rather have, like, I don't know, a nice cuppa. But I'm sat drinking water and getting up to go to the toilet every 5 minutes, and it's not fun. There is one of the days where I couldn't remember how many bottles I'd had. I knew that I'd had 2, or did I know that I'd had 3? Anyway, the way that I ended up doing it, I couldn't remember one of the bottles, so I either had the right amount or I had a litre too much. But I'd rather go over it than go under it and fail, so I just had no memory of the first bottle of water, whether I'd drank it or not, so I ended up, yeah, just maybe drinking more or maybe drinking the right amount, but I wasn't going to fail it because I couldn't remember. Like, that was just not going to happen. I think that's it for this one. I've been really enjoying it. I feel like I've fell into a bit of a groove with it now. And I'm at that point where I'm like, I don't want it to end. And I know, like, you could continue to do it, but at some point there'll be a day that I miss. I don't know. So I'm starting to try to think ahead, trying to think of a plan for going forward, like what I want to do when it finishes. Part of us really wants to do a high rocks. I really want to do a high rocks, but I don't know if my hip will hold out, and I don't want to hurt myself for the sake of it. I'll see how we'll go with that. But yeah, just thinking of how I can do it going forward and how to sort of integrate back into whatever normal's going to be after I finish it. I don't want to just go mad and eat loads of food and lose all the progress that I've been making. I will do, so I have obviously been losing weight. I do feel like I've been stuck at a bit of a plateau. Is that the right word? But it is what it is. It's not just about like how heavy I am, because obviously I'll be building muscle, I'll be retaining water if I'm sore, like all of that. Like I'm not too concerned about it. It's just interesting. Like sometimes things slow down, sometimes it speeds up, and I just like to track it. So over a month, I've lost 3.6 pounds, which isn't too bad, I suppose. Over 6 months, I've lost 12.2, which is nice. So I will put the screenshot on the screen now. You can kind of see that bit where it goes up is December. It's like over Christmas, and November I don't think I weighed myself. But then you can obviously see it drop off. I wonder if it's more for a year. Yeah, you can kind of see where I started like trying to lose weight over the summer. I did do a little video series on here. Not many people watched it. Let me know what you think about future challenges. I quite like the idea of doing some step count ones. I did actually, I'm going on a ramble now, but I did actually record doing 10,000 steps a day for 30 days in September, and I never posted it. I've probably still got all the B-roll, and like there was one day I ended up walking around a services car park on a night because I'd been home for the day and I had to get my steps in, so I'd pulled over at Wetherby to do loads of steps. But I never actually posted that. So I do like the idea of doing stuff like that. I like watching videos like that, and I think it's a good way of motivating yourself to get moving and to keep moving if it's under the guise of a challenge. I feel like that's how I work best. But anyway, I'm going to go now because I am just rambling about random things that you don't need to know about. I can't believe we're like 2/3 of the, well, now today sitting recording this, I'm 2/3 of the way through. It's just crazy. I feel like it's gone really quick this time round. I don't want it to end. Maybe it doesn't have to. But those beer gardens will pull us in. Anyway, if you are interested in self-improvement content, whether that's health and fitness, finance, or a little self-improvement challenge here and there, please do subscribe. And if you're doing something similar, let me know. I love following like similar channels to what I'm trying to do. That's why I've made this channel, because it's basically all that I watch when I'm sitting working every day. So let me know if you are doing something similar as well, and I can come and subscribe to you and we can support each other. I will see you next time. Bye.